Here we go. Let's go. I'll let it marinate for a second, see how I can jump on. Hey. If you're jumping on the live on TikTok, make sure you tap so we get the algorithm going and let people know we on live. Let me get the intro out the way. Ladies and gentlemen, homies on homettes, children, babies, creatures of all kinds. What it do, what it do. Welcome to another version of Man vs. the Machine. Let's get it popping. Like I said, we're going to let the live viewers catch up real quick. What's up, J God? If you're tapping in, make sure you tap the screen so we get the algorithm letting people know that we about to get busy on this Man vs. the Machine. Go check Facebook, see how that's going. Go check Instagram, see how that's going. What's up, C Beats? Okay, looks like we are cool on everything. I gotta check. What's up, Linda? Remember, if y'all joining on TikTok, tap. Gotta make sure we Gucci. So, for some reason, I know exactly what the reason is. And you be kicking that knowledge. There I go. When you be kicking that knowledge, it don't want you to switch the skin right. When you be kicking that knowledge, it don't want you to be in contact with everybody. What's up, y'all? There we go. Jiminy, what's up, Linda? What's up, Zanish? What up, boo? Let's get it. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Tap. What's up, Hawk? Come on in. You coming in? Tap. We live on everything. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. So, about to get it going. If y'all missed it, what we talking about today? I know TikTok, I ain't get a chance to drop the commercial for today's live, so the focus what we going on today is not who you are, but whose you are. What are you talking about? What's up, B-Man? I think it's enough of y'all in the room right now, so I can go ahead and get going. All right. Not who you are, but whose you are. What did you talk about? It's not who I am. Because everybody right now, when you want to be the man, you want to be that girl, you want to be that woman, right? It's a culture of me. It's the me culture, right? It's the me culture. That's why we go out and get all this jewelry, we get these cars, we get these houses, we get these get our face done, get our bodies done. That's why we go hit the gym. That's why people go get BBLs. Everybody wants to be him or her, right? And it talks about this in the Bible. Gotta read it. Men, women shall be lovers of God, more lovers of themselves more than lovers of God. Excuse me. Lovers of themselves more than lovers of God. Everybody wants to be that person. Everybody wants to be the one. Everybody wants to be him. What's up, Pepsi? But him or her can only get you so far. You having all the money, you having all the beauty, you having all the power can only get you so far for so long. What do you mean? What are you talking about? How do you know that? Right? It's more important of who you are than who you are, right? You can be a billionaire, you can be a millionaire, you can be that guy, you can be the boss, you can be jefe, you can be all these things, right? But they can come and take it away. The world, the machine, can come and take it away for you, just like that. Just like that. That's what people don't understand, right? We spend all this time focusing on being lovers of ourselves more than lovers of God. It's even got so toxic now that we're so much lovers of ourselves that we only care about ourselves. It's made the culture, the machine, the principalities of wickedness in high places, right, have value. Yes, you're right, Pepsi. It is definitely social media for real. Social media is a gift and a curse. What do you mean? The gift part is easy. You get to hear real knowledge now, right? A lot of the things that they was trying to hide from people, trying to hide from society, they can't. They would have to literally run into every podcast and unalive us for you guys not to be able to hear these things. And then that would make you guys open your eyes, hopefully, even more. The curse is it's made people self-centered, right? The selfie, the focus, right, on ourselves. So much of a fact that we don't care about anything but ourselves. That's why it's so easy to cut people off. That's why it's so easy to not care, to move on, to do these evils to other people and just keep going. Unfortunately, last night I saw a person almost unalive outside of a venue, hit by a car purposely. And people were just, it was crazy because even the cops, right, they were right there. They didn't administer first aid or any of those things. And they're just sitting there, and people are literally sitting there like this, filming this stuff while this girl is laid out in the street, right? And it's not a small town, but it's a town where pretty much everybody's connected out here, right? So my live, I'm not even on social media, but just like when y'all come on live, it's telling me all these people around me are on live, filming the same thing, right? I didn't film it. It was nothing worth filming. It was messed up because I'm watching the officers that doing security at the venue just standing there. No one's, are you okay? Are you alive? Check their pulse. None of this stuff. And I'm sitting here and being in that field before. I'm sitting here like, what the hell? You know? And people trying to tell the cops what happened and them not pursuing. It was just a lot going on. And then the emergency responders taking forever to come, right? But I'm watching people do this with a phone, do this with a phone, and the compassion is not there. And I'm looking at this. It wasn't because they're filming it because they care. It was more, I'm filming this so I can get likes, so I can get attention, so I can get views, right? People have become lovers of themselves more than anything, but more importantly, they've become lovers of themselves more than lovers of God, right? And so again, when this came to me, like I said, when I do these man versus machines, again, I say this every time. I don't do it from me. I'm not speaking of what I want to speak about. I speak about what God that actually tells me to speak about, right? So we put all this money, we put all this energy, we put all this time, we put all these theatrics into, even, especially with social media, being something. A lot of people are trying to be something that they're not even really are, right? And you used to see this a lot with artists, music artists. A lot of these rappers, a lot of these artists weren't really who they were. They would tell you to be a gangster, but they really wasn't a gangster. They tell you to be a thought, but they really was not one. They were thoughts, but weren't trying to be thoughts, right? Just so they paint this picture. The machine gives you this image of what's right, right? Oh, we got to be this. I got to be the best, right? And there's nothing wrong with trying to be the best version of you. But the best version of the you is not self-absorbent. It's not full of pride, right? And so the internet has tricked you to have and the social media and the machine itself has tricked you to have a mind of pride, where you become basically the same sin, the same thing that brought down Lucifer. Pride brought Lucifer down. Lucifer said to himself, I'm going to ascend my throne higher than the Most High, right? Because he was beautiful. He hasn't changed his form, right? he hasn't changed anything about what he does or his attacks or anything. What he was simply able to do was to bring his ideology and spread it, right? So his ideology has spread to the masses, and we think because I look better than this person, or I'm gonna make myself this person, or I'm gonna be this is me, I'm him, I'm her, right? That is the top of the echelon. But it really doesn't mean jack shit, because they can take that away from you so easily, right? They can take that away from you instantly. And it's sad that we don't see it. We see it all the time, but it doesn't register in our mind. And the machine knows that. Just how Lucifer thought his pride, I'm him. Lucifer thought he was him. What do you mean? If you look, book of Isaiah or Daniel, or anytime they're describing Lucifer, right? He was the most precious cherub. He was God made jewels inside of his flesh, basically his spirituality. So when you saw Lucifer, he was woven with the most precious stones, right? God gave him a position, right? How many of y'all have gotten positions where have you seen somebody, right? They got a position at work and then they changed. They went from being cool with the workers, then they got maybe a team leader position, or somebody put them in a position of power, and then they got their mind, they got haughty, right? They become not your friend no more, but your adversary, right? This is the same thing Lucifer did, because the position he had, his beauty, right? Does it sound familiar to anything I'm saying to y'all, or what y'all seeing nowadays? So he took his mindset and put it on the people, right? So you get these people at work, it might be you, and unlike him, you can still repent, you can still turn around, you still have this podcast, you still have other podcasts and other people trying to tell you these things, right? So he projected his mindset on people. That's all you see with the GOV, the machine itself in operation, is a projection of the mind of Lucifer and demonic mind states, because it's not just him. You have the fallen, the watchers, and everything. Like I said, I'm giving y'all meat now, okay? Keep giving y'all milk, because y'all need to understand these things. So it's just not Lucifer on the earth just carrying out things. You have different entities and different operations. Some demons and some hierarchies don't even mess with him. You know what I'm saying? But you have to start learning that. It's powerful. It's more demons powerful than even his operation, but it's all the same thing. It's all leading to the same war. It's all leading to your demise, right? So just like you get these people on the job, right? And they get these positions and then they change. They was cool yesterday, but now they got a title. And now they change, right? Because now they him or now they her, right? Get these positions in your family. Or you get these people when they get money and you be like, oh, you got money, you change, right? Not sometimes for the better, but now I'm better than you on this, and that. Same mindset that Lucifer had, because he wants you to focus on you. You're better. So his mindset was, I got all these stones in me. I'm beautiful. God made me perfect. I can walk in the light of God. Now I'm going to take over, right? That's the mindset that he wants you to have. He lost the love for everybody around him. He even tricked the third of the angels to go with him. And this is the pride that they want you to have. The pride that he wants you to have is, I'm him, I'm her, I'm better than everybody else. And when you get that mindset, the angels that he tricked was his brothers, right? But he didn't care about them. He didn't care that they were going to get kicked out with him. He didn't care that they were going to get the wrath, or that some of them could die or be whatever happens to immortal beings when they go to war, right? He didn't care about any of that. He cared about himself, right? So when you have this mindset of him and her, and it's a very thin line, right? It's a very thin line between confidence and cocky, right? And so when you get over into the line, you cross over to the line of cocky, that's where pride kicks in, right? It's valuable to want to be the best version of you. The best version of you is going to fulfill the purpose and the will of God, right? But it's when it becomes all about you, that's when the problem comes. Life is not all about you. Chosen, if you call, it's not about you. It's about you becoming the best version of you so you can help others, right? Me becoming the best version of me is not about me trying to be the best podcaster, or the best, when I used to rap, be the best rapper, or the best. right? I wanted to be the best so I could bring up the people around me. I wanted to be the best. I want to be the best at this so I can show you guys that you can fall off, come back up, right? You can face all these things that I faced in life and still become the best version of you, what God wants you to be. Now, the pride for me, or the pride that you see with the world is, and the people of the world is, I want to be the best so I can crush you. I want to be the best so I can make you feel like crap, right? One of my favorite artists, and I hate to say this about him, you see that a lot with 50, right? It's not because he needs to do these things, do the stuff that he says, but he wants to destroy everything around him. That's why he picks fights and picks these things, right? Because I want to be the best at this, right? But that never gets you anywhere being the best, right? If being him or being her will make you untouchable, right? Why do you see a lot of these dope dealers that were the man, not the man no more? Or why do you see a lot of these people that were beautiful getting cheated on, right? If that's all you put your energy into and your focus into is being you, being him or her, or being the best from a prideful state, you're missing the whole point, right? It was one in time, right? Halle Berry was the most beautiful person. She won this competition in magazines and on TV many times, many years in a row, right? She got cheated on. She got cheated on. Her husbands, multiple of them, past husbands, have cheated on her. Boyfriends too, right? So she didn't, all this beauty that you guys want to get, and a lot of y'all go out. I don't recall Halle Berry ever having surgeries or anything like that to enhance her beauty. A lot of us spend all this money and time enhancing her beauty, right? Just for the same result, right? So being her didn't stop her from having to experience pain, did it? No, it didn't stop her from being cheated on, did it? No. But we spend all this time and spend all our money and spend all this energy on trying to be that from a selfish perspective, right? From a man perspective, right? Maduro, we'll just say this, right? He was the president of a whole country, Venezuela. I don't know. I wasn't there. If he stole billions of dollars and is in control of a cartel, right? He was snatched from his whole country, put in shackles. He's not him no more. When he was who he was as the president, he was him, right? All these dope dealers. Now I'm only mentioning these names because it's in the headline, so to get your attention so you can understand. He thought it was him. And the powers, the principalities decided they didn't want him to be him no more. And he was brought down low. The same way Satan was brought down low. Not trying to compare the two, but it's the mindset that you have to understand. Just like Satan thought he was better than God and got kicked out, and the people and the angels that were with him got the same result, right? From pride. So, what are you saying? Being him and being her can only get you so far. And usually being him and her can lead to your own destruction and your own pain. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So, what else are you saying, man? So it's more important of who you are than who you are. What do you mean by that? Who you are. Who you are, being a child of God, right? Being someone that God knows. Being someone that God considers his friend. David was him in the Bible. King David was him. He was King David, right? So he was him. He made a lot of mistakes. If you read the Bible, David was almost killed more times than I could count by his enemies, by his own family members, his own blood, his own sons, his own people in council, right? David did a lot of things that was contrary to this belief that the system has to make you think that you have to be perfect for God to want to deal with you. You don't. There is no perfect person, right? The only thing that saved David was not the fact that he was the king or he was him. It was whose he was. God saved him every time David got in trouble. Every time someone tried to kill David. Every time someone tried to assassinate David. Every time David did some type of sin that got himself in trouble with God. The thing that saved David was whose he was, not who he was, right? He was a king, but he had to run from his own son, the prince, because he wanted to kill him, right? The only thing that saved David was whose he was. Before David was even king, but he was anointed to be king, he had to run from Saul, who was the king. Why? Because Saul didn't want him to take his throne. So he had the kingdom, the guards, the security, the soldiers, the army chasing David. What saved David from that? Not because he was David, not because he killed Goliath. It was because God had his back, right? And see, this is what you have to understand. It's things that the system, once it gets you in power, right? Or once the devil gets you outside of your purpose and you thinking that you are God or you are above everyone, it's things in this life, it's things that he would do to bring you down. The same way he was brought down. The same way the system would brought you down. So if a man is president of a whole nother country, he can go from the president and the most powerful man in the country and just that quick, they can take everything from him in a matter, would it take 2 hours, 3 hours to abduct him and to bring him down? Nothing. So he's inside Rikers Island or wherever facility that Puffy was at. I forget what the name of the place. He's brought down low. If y'all, and I hate that this happened, but if you even watch these documentaries, right, of what happened to Diddy, and if you listen to Diddy's mindset, right, he was him in his mind. He thought he was untouchable, right? He's a billionaire. Thought he was untouchable. He could do this, he could do that, right? Even during the trial, if you watch it, a lot of the stuff that he said he did, right, wasn't what they were trying to accuse him of. But even though they couldn't get him on the stuff they wanted to, they took this man, and he's a billionaire, and imprisoned him. He's in prison. He is the laughing stock of the industry right now. He has other industry people scared because of what he could actually reveal. He probably had people in government scared, but they brought him low. But if you listen to his mindset prior to it and all the things he was accused of, and if you watch all these other documentaries about the stuff he was saying and his actions, he thought he was him, but he was brought low, right? Pride comes before a fall. You have to understand this. So it's more about whose you are than who you are. But again, the system, the machine wants you to think it's you him. You are, that's why you have this word idols. What is an idol? It's a god. It's something set up to be something that you worship as a god, right? Whether it's a person or a thing, right? When we think about idols, we don't think about it in the way, it's the same terminology, right? When we think of idols in the old days, we think, oh, they carved something out of stone or they carved something out of wood and they started worshiping. But we project our energy into these athletes, stars, celebrities, and all this stuff, and you start worshiping them, right? They become your god. Oh, I'll die for you, oh, I'll do this, feigning and all these things. Yet they don't even know that you exist. But the true God knows you exist. These celebrities that they say are your idols and you worship, right? If you went to jail, are they going to buy you out? Can you call them? When you need something to eat or some money, are you praying to them? Well, we put so much energy and worship into them, right? That you forget that it's a real God. It's the most high God, right? So they become your idols. So they become your God. You should put nothing before me. No idols or no worship before me. And so we start doing that with ourselves too. We start becoming so high-minded that we take upon the same ideology and mindset that Satan has. Oh, I'm the finest, or I'm the richest, or I'm the toughest, or I'm this. When I had the flu for the last couple of weeks, right, I was stuck in the bed, and I was watching these cartel series, and I'm like, man, Netflix sucks. Like, just the only thing on TV that I can watch. I done ran through Prime, I done ran through Netflix, I done ran through Tubi, I done ran through Peacock, and I just got stuck on certain series, right? And so I started with Power, right? Went back to the old Power. And I noticed the thing with Ghost, Amari Hardwick's character, if y'all haven't never watched Power. So he came from a street hustler and he became the biggest cocaine distributor in New York. And this is fictional, right? Then he wanted to get out. So Ghost's pride got him killed at the end of the thing. What are you talking about? So if you fast forward through all these seasons that this show went on, Ghost was doing a lot of things. But the main thing that was giving him tunnel vision, why he couldn't escape the game, is his pride. He became arrogant, right? When people were trying to even warn him on the day that they killed him, his pride, his ego, and how he talked to people wouldn't let him listen to the warnings that were trying to be said. Take the congressman in the show, right, was trying to warn him at the last minute, like, hey, it's a trap coming from you, I'm about to kill you. But he talked so bad to him because he thought he was him. He had made it. His plan, despite all the things that happened in the show and the series, his plan seemed like it was working. He had become, his nightclub was successful. He even kicked his rival out of position, which was his ally at one time, and he was about to become the governor, right, or lieutenant governor, right? So he didn't even want to talk to dude. The dude was trying, the guy wanted to kill him, but then he thought about his actions, like, nah, let me save him. And he was trying to warn him, but he wouldn't listen. So his pride ended up destroying him. That's a fictional show, right? It's based on probably some characters that were real, but it's a fictional show. So then I started watching Pablo Escobar, Narcos. And so Pablo, at one time, was one of the richest people on earth. So much so that he built his own prison. Did you realize that? He built his own prison, told the government, I'm going to build my own prison. I'm going to go in there when I want to. Then he built the tunnel so he could get out and go visit his wife every night and do whatever he wanted to do, right? Pablo died on the roof in Colombia, shot. They spent so much resources, so much time. This dude was so rich that he bought a zoo, built a zoo in his own country. He had hippos, giraffes, whatever you can think of. Pretty much whatever Pablo wanted to do, he was so rich he did it, right? He was him. Blew up an airplane. He blew up a commercial aircraft and killed people because he wanted to send a message. This how powerful this man was. And he ended up being shot on a rooftop wearing flip-flops and sandals, right? You want to Google the picture, right? But he was him, right? You're probably never going to be wealthy as Pablo Escobar. And if he could be brought down, what makes you can't be brought down, right? Griselda, same thing. Blanco. Watch that series. Watch El Jefe, all these things. It all resulted in the same thing. It was him, it was her, and it was brought down, right? But the machine wants us to focus so much, so tough on being that person that we get blindsided and we get consumed with this mindset that we are better than everybody, that it's all about us, right? And it's all about our feelings, right? It's all about how we feel. It's all about our agenda. It's all about our path when it's not. You're not here to live out what you want to do or why you want to do it and everyone to kneel to you and everyone to be destroyed by your aspirations, right? You're chosen. Those are byproducts. And that's something I'm going to talk about too, because we're going to kick off the Valentine's Day series tomorrow. And we're going to talk about relationships and things like that. But success, right? The things that we want are byproducts. And it's not nothing that God doesn't want to give us, right? Your purpose will provide for you. Meaning all the things and the desires of your heart, God doesn't want to hold those back from you. He just wants you to walk in your purpose, right? So, but we get so self-absorbed that we think it's all about us. And we're willing to step on whoever, whatever, and do whatever and whatever to get what we want for us. That we lose sight of everything else. That's the goal. Same trick, same mindset, same evil, same pride that brought Satan down. He forgot what his purpose was, which was true calling. It's nothing that he did. He didn't even create himself. He was created by God, right? To serve a purpose. The byproduct of that was God making him the most beautiful angel, putting him in his presence, making him the head of the heavenly orchestra and whatever other jobs that Satan had. But his pride tricked him, made him think it was all about him, and he was going to do whatever he wanted to do, needed to do, no matter who it hurt, no matter what it destroyed and who it brought down, long as his agenda was filled. And that's the same thing, the same lie, the same sin that we go through today. It's just in the social media form. Do you know how many people, and I've seen this, right, that live in poverty and spend their money on things to showboat? They'll get taxes back, or they'll get, say, the PPE loans and all this other stuff, right? And they go spend the money instead of enhancing their life. They enhance themselves, right? I know somebody now, and I know a lot of people that spent tens of thousands of dollars enhancing their body, right? And now they didn't change where they live. They didn't invest anything to change their lifestyle, right? Now they have a nice body. And some of it's even decaying because they don't go to the gym to keep the body what it was, and it deteriorated back. But they don't have those resources no more. Never came across that type of money again. They look good, but they don't have anything to enhance their life. Still living in the ghetto, right? Still living in poverty, right? Still living or working a job. Some of them have been fired from jobs, right? Same with people, with men. They went, got all these things, right? Cars, boats, and all these things, and they couldn't maintain them. But it was to make themselves feel like it was him or her, right? So they got off the path, and it led to their own destruction. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. There's more than one way to die or fail, right? You got slow failures and you got quick ones where you can see the results quick. But if you're struggling to maintain these things, so now I did all these things to make myself look a certain way, but I truly wasn't what I was trying to portray. That's pride, and that's destruction, right? So it's more important for you to be whose, right, which is God's, than it is be you thinking that you being him or her is the utopian of it, right? God wants you to be the best version of you. He wanted Satan to be the best version. He created him. He created everything in him. There's nothing Satan did was like, oh, let me do this to make myself better. Because he couldn't. Because God had already created him as the best. But his mindset, right, wanted to exceed the thing that even created him. And see, this mindset that the machine, that the principalities of wickedness give you, is that they want you to think and have this mindset in which it becomes a lifestyle, and it becomes a spirit, and it becomes in itself demonic, because you will risk everything to make people think you better than everything, to make you feel and give you a false feeling that you're greater than everything, and everything just serves you, right? So it's destructive. And even your relationships that you try to have, right? Because who wants to be in a relationship that with someone that everything is I or me, right? Everything is about them. It's not a we, it's not a us. It's just you pouring everything into that individual. And then the thing about it is unsatiable, meaning you can't never fulfill that desire. Right? You can never fulfill that desire. Right? Just like if you go out, right, and you think that an automobile is going to make you him, right? It doesn't. It changes something on the outside. It's just something that you can see, but it doesn't change you internally, right? Same thing with a lot of these cosmetic things. And I'm sorry, ladies, I'm not really trying to come for you. I'm just saying, right? Y'all spend so much time worried about your beauty that you don't fix the inner you, right? Beautiful on the outside. How many of y'all people notice? Male or female, right? They look good on the outside, he handsome on the outside, or she beautiful on the outside, but the inside is ugly, right? Where do you think that gets you? But the pride of them, and people wonder, wow, I'm not in a good relationship. Why I can't ever have a good relationship? Why? Because you're self-centered on you. You focused on just you. Everything is about you, right? So it's who you are, and not whose you are. Because if you focused on whose, which is God is love, right? Tells you to love your neighbor like you love yourself. If you can do those things, everything else is added onto you, right? Like I just told y'all, Satan didn't add anything to his being to make himself beautiful or perfect. God already gave it to him. The same that God already gives the things that he has for you, right? All you have to do is walk in your purpose and you're going to get those things, right? But the mindset is me, 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 him, her. And you forget whose you are and focus on who you are. And you lose sight of that. And that's when you become disconnected. And that's when you fall into traps. And these traps are meant to destroy you. These traps are going to destroy you, right? I just told you, Pablo Escobar was one of, I believe he was like the 7th richest person on earth at the time, right? And he died on the run. He had to go kill someone that he gave some money to, a small amount to, just to continue to be on the run, right? He had to backstab somebody for some peon money. Peon, $6,000. This dude was a trillionaire. Trillionaire. He had to go at the end of his run. He had to go backstab someone, kill female that he had gave one of his henchmen had gave some money to, just so he can have money to run. He was him, right? But him, his pride, his ego, brought him down low to the point where he was killed on a rooftop in flip-flops. Literally. In flip-flops and a Hawaiian Sophie shirt. You can view it. And like I said, I hate bringing up people that are alive, but at a point in time, Meech was him, right? If you're from Detroit, Atlanta, Cali, y'all seen the story. Hundreds of millions of dollars, blowing it all at the club, doing all these things, right? But he was brought down low. They took everything from him. You can ask Meech. When you came through the county, I was there. Didn't meet him. It was one of the things. I was fighting the gun case myself. He was in the same county as the rest of us. He was in the same jumpsuit as the rest of them. Though he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars at the time, he was in the same jumpsuit as the rest of us. His lights got turned off the same time our lights got turned off. He might have had more commissary, which he did because he spread the commissary out on the jail, and I witnessed that. But he was up, and pride brought him down because he thought, because I'm him, that I ascended the Most High. And then I watched, like I said, I was watching their story. And it was a time where he got shot, right? And the guy Lamar, this really happened. The real Lamar really shot Meech, right? And Terry was telling the story, his brother. This is a real story. And he had got Terry shot, right? In the face, and this is how his eye got messed up, right? Should be dead. Because he tried to off him, shot him right in his head, right? So it wasn't about him being the man that saved him. It was about whose he was. How do you know that? He had a praying mother. His mother was praying for him. So even though he was in the streets, and this is why I'm trying to tell y'all, and so y'all to understand that it's not about you being perfect, right? It's about you having a relationship with God. David wasn't perfect. David did some of the worst things that you could possibly think of if you read the story. Read Kings, right? He did some of the worst things. He was a killer. he was wild, bro. But God said he was a man after his own heart. Why did he say that? Because David knew how to repent. David never held his self-esteem higher than God, right? Even though he was the king, even his wife at one point, right? One of the queens that he had told him. So David was dancing before God, right? He had ripped off all this stuff, and he was just in his drawers, dancing in the street, praising God, right? And she said, "This how the king of Israel act?" He said, "I'll embarrass myself any day of the week for God, because God has brought me through all these things." Shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. That's the mindset that he had. It wasn't that he was the king and he was better than anybody, but he knew whose he was. It wasn't about who he was. It was about whose he was, and that was more important to him than him being even the king of Israel. Going back to what I was saying about Terry and Meech. The covering that they family, the prayers that their family was putting over him, shot Terry in the face, right? Meant to go through his head. The bullet was like right here. Why isn't he not dead? Is it because he was Big Meech's brother? No. It's because of who he was, and he had a bigger purpose. Even though they were doing what they were doing then, God still had a purpose and protection of them from the prayers, right? When Lamar caught up with Meech and his boy was talking about it, he was sitting right in the car with him, and he was talking about how Meech was just taking the bullets, right? And the gun they showed was a 44 Magnum. I don't know if the gun that they really used was a 44 Magnum, but he was right here catching, boom, 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 boom. And he said he can hear Meech just taking the bullets. Do you think it was because he was Big Meech that he didn't die that day? No. It wasn't because who he was. It was because whose he was. And the prayers from his parents and from even himself was protecting him, even though he was living that lifestyle, right? So for you guys, what you have to understand is don't let the system trick you into thinking that you better or you're better than everybody or have you so prideful that it's all about you, right? Because all that could be taken from you. Like I said, Meech was worth over hundreds of millions of dollars. He was in the same county jail in Detroit as the rest of us, right? As the rest of us. That's right. I got out within a couple months after I fought and beat my case. He was still there for 12 more years, right? So don't let the pride trick you that you think that it's about you, so much so that you forget that it's a God, right? That it's a God that is protecting you, right? You can see in these situations where no matter how much money you have, or no matter how good you look, or how tough you think you are, that if God's hand is not on your life, you can fall. It's not about you, it's about Him, right? But if you connect it with Him, no matter what the machine, no matter what the principalities, no matter what the government, no matter what your family, your enemies, your frenemies, no matter what they do, they can't stop you. If God before you, the world against you is not enough. All odds against you are not enough. If God before you. But if you think it's just you, right? And you just think that you are him or her, you will be brought down low. And this is where I said, well, you got to understand, right? The goal is to be the best version of you. But the goal is not to think that you're so high-minded that you're better than everybody else or you're better than God, that you lose sight of the true purpose and it becomes all about you, right? Don't lose the confidence to be the best version of yourself. You need that confidence to excel in life, right? I'm never going to tell you to be a weakling. I'm never going to tell you to be a sheep. I'm never going to tell you to not press towards being the best version of you, right? But you have to keep it in focus. What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is to be the best without the arrogance. Best player in football, well, best running back, in my opinion, Barry Sanders. You never seen him celebrate. Barry would juke out all 11 members of another team. He'd go get a football to the ref and do that. You never really heard him in any controversy or anything like that. He was him, but he was humble. Being him or her and keeping your humility, right, is the whole goal, right? When you can walk in a room and the atmosphere of the room change, but you don't have ego and arrogance, that's powerful. That's the real power. When people see you and they see God in you, that's the real power, right? Because it ain't about me, it's about Him. God gonna let you shine on the residuals. Satan was the beautiful angel not because he created himself, he was created by God, and that was residuals. He got it in his mind, which he wants to get in your mind, that I'm better than everybody, that I'm better than even God. That's what he wants. That's the trick, right? That's the trick of having idols that aren't God, that are worshiping things that aren't God, right? Because he'll have you so concerned with being him that you forget about everything else. Just like I was telling you, these people. And that's what the machine targets. People who have to come out of the mud. What do you mean by coming out of the mud? People who have to come up in the struggle. He'll blind you with these things, right? these self-absorbing things to trick you. Like I was saying, this is how you get people to spend money on their appearance before they spend money on even changing their lifestyle and their surroundings, right? So once the things that were given to them to help them get these things to change their physical appearances or to get things that really didn't change their lifestyle, right? To go get frivolous things, right? When that money dries up and you don't have it anymore, you look good, but you still live here. You look good, but now your kids is hungry. You have this car, but you can't maintain it anymore. You have this house, but you can't maintain it anymore. That's the trick. And the trick was to get you to think like, I need these things so people think I'm him or her, right? I need these things because I want to feel better or chase better or seem better. And this is where social media really drives it, because you have a lot of people that aren't really this. Once you turn the camera off, or you know what I'm saying, you can see this room, right? But I could pretend to be whatever I wanted to be in this room, right? I could pretend to be whatever I want to be. And that will make people want to chase that too, that desire, right? But they don't see the truth behind that. And that's what you guys got to understand, is the truth behind that. The individual behind that. Stop chasing being just him or her if it's going to lead you away from God, if it's going to lead you away from your purpose, right? All the things that you want, all the things that you desire, God is going to give them to you if you remember and honor who he is, right? You can't fulfill your purpose no matter how much money you get, right? No matter how high your status is, right? You can be humble so fast. Just like I was saying, a lot of times, if y'all think about it, my first example of it is like, how many of y'all know a person at work, right, that was given a title, and once they got that title, they changed, right? They weren't them no more. They was different. One changed in the good way. One changed trying to help. Because when you come from the mud, I remember when I came off the line, right? When I came off the line at Ford, meaning working on the assembly line. When I came off the line at Ford, I got my first leadership position. And this is kind of contrary to what I was saying, right? I was still like the line workers, right? And that was kind of to my demise, right? But see, my ambition there was to take what I didn't like and what I seen as a line worker, and when I became the supervisor, I wanted to change it. Now, mind you, it was my first position, and I was more still in the mindset of a worker than the mindset of a boss, right? And these are things that you like gotta understand too. The thin line between destruction on both ends. But a lot of the times when you see these people, right, and they kiss their butt to the way to the top, sometimes they get there, right? And then the destruction comes after that, right? They forgot who they were and where they came from. See, the thing is, when you're moving and operating in God, right, he doesn't want to, he's not putting you in these positions. He's not bringing you up for you to become prideful and you to become high-minded, right? He's bringing you up for you to change not just your life, but the life of people's that he wants you to touch, right? He wants you to change the lives and do the purpose that he sent you to do, not just to destroy yourself or think you just that and you just it, right? But he's trying to get you to understand that you are it and you are who you are because I purposed you on this planet to change lives, right? If you got millions of dollars and you're just a selfish person, right, it doesn't benefit anybody but you. You see, chosen people aren't called to just benefit them. Chosen people are called to change the atmosphere, change the environment, change this world, right? You can't do that if it's just all about you, right? If it's all about me, I change nothing. I have no real purpose but self-serving, right? So you have to understand what the trick is. The trick is to get you to think about you so you forget about whose you are. Because if you're focused on God and his purpose for your life, you quickly understand that though God is elevating me, he's elevating me so I can be a change agent. When we talk about chosen and called and children of the light, right? You're talking about change agents, right? You're talking about agents of change because they have the ability, they have the God-given ability to change their opportunities. But don't get blinded in thinking it's all about you. Don't get blinded when God gives you the tools to make a change, right? That you're so focused on you changing you and worried about your appearance and the things that are going to make people think that you are him or her, right? That you miss out on the things that God blessed you with, right? I'll tell you one of my own mistakes. And it really wasn't about being him, but it's in the same category, like I said, of the people that take their taxes and go do things that's not going to change their life, right? Not even to survive. Do things, I'm going to change my appearance. I'm going to change these little things I have to make people think I have something that I really don't have obtained, right? Instead of actually obtaining the thing that we get. There's a lot of times, right? God will bless us and we squander the blessings, fucking up the bag. In all honesty, how many people can say they messed up a bag before, right? The thing is, if it was just about you when you messed up a bag, you wouldn't know how to come back for that. But God, it's about whose you are, you can make these mistakes because God wants you to learn from them, right? So he can bring you out and so he can develop you. But when you just focus upon you, this is how you see a lot of these people make these mistakes and don't come back from them, right? They don't come back from this mistake because the trap is for your pride to be a fall. The reward of pride is a fall. It's a humbling. It's you're going to be humbled. And so the devil, principalities of wickedness know this because it happens. He was the first one to have this sin. So he knows what the results and the consequences of the sin is. But he wants them to happen to you. The difference between you is that when you go through things and we fall from your sins and your mistakes because of who you are, you can try to save people from having to go through those same things that you did. I'd be a fool to sit here and tell you, all right, or try to hide the mistakes I made. My whole goal here is to help y'all not have to physically, mentally go through the mistakes and the lessons that life taught me. It's the same for you if you're a chosen one. The whole thing of these podcasts that are trying to enlighten people, right, is elevation of the mind and the spirit, right? So if I hide my mistakes, that would be prideful, right? It would be prideful if I lied to y'all and y'all just thought my whole life has been wins. It's not. It's been a lot more downs than it has been wins. But I can't really say that because if you look at it, I wake up every day. I got a roof over my head. I got food to eat. I got cars to drive. I got clothes on my back and such, right? So it's not really a win. But the way we see it is perspective that way, right? The way we see it because when we're not where we want to be and not where we're challenged to be, we think of it as a loss, but it's really not in truth. And that's humbleness, right? So you can move in humbleness, and this is what really y'all have to understand when I'm talking about the him trying to be him and try to be her. The confidence and the cockiness. So I'm humble enough to say that I took L's, right? I'm not cocky enough to be like, I'm perfect. And see, that's the difference that y'all have to understand when y'all moving like this. The most beautiful people aren't just beautiful on the outside, they're beautiful inside. You can get people, right, that don't even physically outlook someone, right? But if their personality is better, that's way more important. That's way more important. That's the light and the purpose of God in you. That's who you are. Over just the looks, I built myself up to look a certain way, but I'm still ugly on the inside. Or a person that may not be even the 10, they may be the 8 or the 7 or the 6, but their personality is different, right? Their personality is beautiful. That's what you have to understand. We focus on the wrong thing so much that we lose sight of it. Lucifer was beautiful, but his insides is ugly. Still is to this very day. That's why he wants to destroy you. People think or they masquerade, and a lot of it says he transformed, and they try to make him transform into this red ugly thing, right? If sin was ugly, why would you do it? So that means the author of sin couldn't be ugly. Never have I seen or read that Lucifer transformed into some ugly creature, right? From what I heard, it says, do not be confused that Satan should transform himself to an angel of light. That means I will consider that he would still be beautiful, right? But he's ugly on the inside. That entity is ugly on the inside because it wants to destroy you and confuse you and bring you down the path of that, right? So that's where the pride thing comes in. That's where this agenda to be, I'm him, I'm her, comes in. Because it wants you to have a prideful mind, right? It wants you to take you away from who you are and focus on who you are. Meaning you think everything is about you. You think you're the source of all your successes when it's truly not, right? And it wants you to put a mind state where you're above God and you don't need anybody but you, right? If y'all another movie, same thing. Thought he was him. New Jack City, Wesley Snipes, right? Nino Brown. And I hate using these aspects of just, violence and stuff. I'm gonna go into the corporate world too. He was the man. He was him. But his pride, I don't need nobody, brought his whole system down, right? It happens in the legal world, happens the same way in the corporate world. It happens the same way in ministry. When people believe that they're bigger than the program, you're going to get humbled because that was the consequence of the first creature in creation that thought prideful. The consequence of that sin, pride, was to be humble, right? Guess this is our hour in. Let me put that there on the puzzle. The consequences of that was to be humble. I gave y'all multiple examples of the humble. I gave y'all multiple examples of people in high wealth positions, right? That was him, that was her, and was brought down because I'm him, I'm her. I don't need nobody. And it was all about them. They lost sight of whose they were and resulted back in who they were, and who they were couldn't get them out of the situations that they were in, and they got humbled. When you watch again on these documentaries, right, and you see how, and again, I hate this for him, not because I'm a Puffy fan or anything like that, but it shows again where pride will lead to destruction. All the evil and things he was doing, right? Oh, I'm this and that, and I don't need nobody, and kicking people in the ass and treating them like dirt and causing people to do all these horrible things that he caused them to do, right? But then when they came for him, right? I'm the man, I'm God, I'm Diddy, and I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm that, right? Putting himself above everybody, right? Making himself seem like he was a God, right? And then what happened to him? He had to pray to the real God when he was going. You see him in this documentary. Man, God got to help me out. But you denounced God and forgot about God your whole success route. You did all these satanic and evil things, right? But then you need to call to the Most High. The trick is to get you watching, me, myself, and all these people in these positions, that we think that we are bigger than the things and the support around us, that we are our own God, right? That we don't need the Most High God, that our pride fills us up and leads us to our own destruction. That's what pride leads to. And the first one to do this wants that to happen to you, because if you destroy if you're a chosen one, right, and you get built up into a high position and the system brings you down, right, you become invalid. How many of y'all, right, before y'all knew the things, right, that he did, were Diddy fans or Bad Boy fans, right? You were a fan of the music or fan of some of the things that he brought out, right? How many of y'all now will listen to him? Well, how many of y'all now will follow him? How many of y'all now thinks he's a leader or worthy of the position he had? How many of y'all, when scandals come about, these people that we think are so high-minded,
will follow these people anymore, right? He couldn't tell you to go do right now because you can look at him like you're invalid, right? That's the whole point of what the pride is about. The pride is about taking your validity away, right? So when you forget about whose you are and think who you are is more important, I'm him, I'm her. Can nobody tell me nothing? I don't need nobody, right? When the fall happens, your validity is gone, right? Nobody wants to listen to you no more, right? No one wants to hear anything that you have to say anymore. You feel crazy, and that's the whole point of the system. So what the evils understand is, if I can take this chosen one, right? If I can take this child of the light, if I can take this person and I can make them invalid, if I can make them prideful, and if I can destroy them and embarrass them, right? And I can take their validity away from them, they're useless, right? And you see, like, now, even when Drewski, he did a skit with these mega pastors, right? First thing y'all thought about, y'all start thinking about some of the ones that y'all see on TV and their invalidity and certain things, right? Mr. Jakes, why he had to retire. Y'all start thinking about the validity when y'all start hearing about him might being in these tapes, right? You start thinking about his validity when you hear Agent Orange, Trump, when you hear about him dealing with the island. Well, I have to think sometimes before I say some things because I don't want to trigger the algorithm. So when you hear about his involvement with the island, why don't they want these tapes out? Because it takes away the validity of these people in high places. Now you're not gonna listen to them. Now you think, can I trust them? Right? Just like I was saying earlier on the last Man vs. the Machine, when you talk about Anton and you talk about Koryoka, right? The argument is bigger than them, right? But that's the pride. You got two people that, if you listen to what they say, they generally agree on the same things. They have pretty much the same style at going against the things they're talking about, right? But the pride and the ego, I'm him. So I'm going to talk to you crazy. I'm him. I'm going to talk to you back crazy. Now, you have these scandals with Corey possibly hit well, it ain't possible. You saw the video, right? But now it takes the validity away from him. I'm sure the numbers have dropped, right? Shannon Sharp. With the scam. I'm him. Can't be touched. I got $100 million on the table. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to move how I want to move. I'm telling y'all not to move this way, but I'm going to move this way myself. And then when the shit hits the fan, the validity is gone. Yeah, they still got their podcast, right? But y'all don't look at them the same way no more, right? Yeah, the pride had them moving in such a way that it brought about their destruction. The same way it'll bring about yours, right? It's not that God don't want y'all in positions of power because he needs you there, right? This is the age of enlightenment. Why do you think all these things, whether you believe, some of them you can't believe, right? But it's a lot of information, right? If you read, if you seek out the information yourself, it's a lot of information out there that has been hidden for years, centuries, right? It's on the floor. It's on the floor. It's the age of information. If you study to show yourself approved, right? You'll get this information. But why do you think at the same time all this information is out, right? All these people are getting exposed to bring down their validity. A lot of this pride, right? It works two ways. The illegitimate children are being brought down, and even some of the legitimate children, because they're forgetting whose they are. There's only two people or two entities on this planet that you're going to belong to, either a child of God or a child of Satan. How do you know that? You're like your father, the devil. You're not of God, but you're like your father, the devil. He was a liar from the beginning, and the truth wasn't in him. That's not Jermaine saying that. That's Yahushua. That's Jesus said that. So he told you right there that you have children of the light, you have children of the dark. If you believe in God, you believe in Jesus, he just told you that, right? Whether you believe the prophet side of it, if you're a Muslim, or if you believe that he's the son of God, the Christian side of it. Regardless what book you reading out of, he said it, right? The Torah, the Quran, he said it. That's what he said, right? So you're a child of the light or you're a child of the dark. So the system of darkness wants you to believe that you are your own God. That's the him or the her agenda. I'm him, I'm her. It wants you to feed all your energy into self, right? Whether it's your appearance or whether it's the things around you, right? It wants you to lose sight of who you are. Because if you lose sight of who you are, it can destroy you. No matter what I'm going through, right? If I remember and I stay connected to God, whose I am, and know that I'm a mere man, right? No matter how much money I got, how strong I am, how good I look, no matter what, all that shit can be taken away from you, right? I just gave y'all multiple examples. What if whose I am, if I'm still a child of God, right? And I'm still in relationship and fellowship with God, I can get it all back. And some, and more, right? That God's never going to leave me or forsake me. That's what they want you to forget. They want you to believe it's all about you. They want you to believe that you're your own source, right? And you will be sadly mistaken because it was people that had more resources than you. It's been people that's been more beautiful than you. It's been people more handsome than you that have been humble. They have been humble because they lose sight of it. And it's a trick and it's a trap by Satan himself, because he was the originator of that. He was the originator, just like he said. When he said it, he was a liar from the beginning. He was prideful from the beginning. And he wants to use that same mindset, that same ideology to trap you and cause you to walk off your purpose or lose sight of your purpose. There's so many people in ministry, there's so many people in business, there's so many people with purpose and potential, right? That when they start building, or when they got to where they thought they was, when they got to the peak that they thought they was, their pride brought them all the way back down into the valley, or destruction, or death, right? I can't be touched. Remember Roy, and that's one of my favorite boxers, 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? Favorite boxers, Roy Jones. I work out to the song "Can't Be Touched" all the time, right? And I've listened to the song, and it hit me different, right? The other day when I listened to it, can't be touched, can't be stopped, can't be moved, can't be rocked, right? And if you follow Roy's career, right, Roy was working. Then he got to a certain level where he started partying, started doing music videos, started being outside, right? Then he started losing, pretty much darn near after he made the song, right? He started losing bad too. Nobody could touch him. And then the pride hit, right? Now I'm in the videos, and I'm not going to recant all the lyrics of the song, right? But it was some things that he said in the song where you can see that he forgot whose he was and where his source was coming from. And it became who he was. I'm the man. I'm her. I'm him. And you got to understand on your journey as y'all elevating, right? And that's the whole point. We're not here to be at the bottom. Your source, who you are, cattle on 1,000 hills, right? Your inheritance as a child of the Most High God is not to be impoverished. It's not to be in struggle. We in struggle when we in poverty is because we're not knowing whose we are. But on the other side of that, when we start becoming who we are, when we start operating as the best version of ourselves, and we start operating in our purpose, the attacks don't stop. They just get more deceptive, right? The deception comes in, people gashing you. You the best. You this, you that. You might be the best, this or that, right? But at the same time, that can bring you down. When somebody just gashing you, oh, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. Why you got to go work out this hard? You can go hang out. You can do this. Get you off of what got you to where you were at, right? And then you can get exposed. Then you become subject to the downfall of pride, because in your heart you say, I don't need God. I don't need this. I don't need anybody, right? And this is like I said, even in relationships, right? The machine has made it so much about us that we don't even have love for anybody, right? I look this way, I'm this way, I can go get somebody, this person is replaceable, right? My own self, I had to think about how pride had got a hold of me at one point, that I had become so callous in the heart, right? That I thought I could replace anybody, right? I don't need this person. I don't need that person, right? And the way I was talking was reckless, right? It was pride. I didn't want to look at my own flaws and be like, dang, what am I saying? I had become angry and I had become mean. And it was pride, right? And it was pride. And that's what, when we sit here and we talk about relationships and stuff like that, and that's all I'm talking about, the machine. If I think I'm him and her and I don't need nobody, everybody becomes expendable to me, right? I'm just all about what I want to do, what my ambitions is, what my desires is, right? And then you mess over good people. You mess over people around you and you self-destruct, right? You self-destruct. Scarface. At the end of the Scarface movie, pride brought him down. I don't need nobody. I'm Tony Montana. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Y'all have to understand that who you are is more important than who you are. And it'll keep you humble. It'll keep you from thinking so high-minded that you can't be touched. Because even in a relationship type situation, right? Dealing with a man or a woman or whatever you do, right? If I remember whose I am, it's not going to allow me to treat people lesser than what God, the love of God, right? It's not going to allow me to keep. Now, we all make mistakes. You're going to say some slick stuff, and you're going to have an attitude and be angry and certain things like that. But you're not going to have the lifestyle, right? Or the habit to continue, habitual habit of mistreating people, misusing people, right? That's the pride. I told you. The reason it wasn't because Satan was beautiful. It's because he lost sight of whose he was, who created him. And he didn't care about anything but his agenda, right? He didn't care about anything but his agenda. And this is what the trick of the machine is. I'm him, I'm her. And it allows you to act with no remorse, no resolve, no empathy, no nothing, because it's all about you, right? It's not about whose you are, because if you relied on whose you are, if you're a child of God, it's going to always keep you humble, meek. It's going to keep you meek. Meek is not weakness, man. It's not weakness at all. Like I told you, when you step in the room and you can change the atmosphere without thinking you better than other people, that's the power. One of the things I learned about leadership is, and I see this in management a lot, right? You got two types of leaders. The ones that want to crack the whip and the ones that can motivate the people to do things for them, right? I've always chosen to be on the other side of that, right? It's more powerful if I could motivate you to want to do what I need you to do, right? Than me just have to enforce it on you, right? If I can motivate you, elevate you, lift you up, teach you, then we have a bond, right? But if I gotta abuse you, break you down, mistreat you to get you what I want you to do, which leader would you prefer to work with? Which leader would you prefer to follow? Right? That's the difference in the I'm him, I'm her. That's why you see, like I said, just using Puffy as an example, the cheesecake and the doing things, I'm imposing my will upon you. right? I'm not elevating you or motivating you to do anything. The motivation has come from my affliction upon you. All right? That's how the devil operated. It was the affliction upon you. I don't care about these other angels that I'm about to take down with me. I don't care about anything but my own agenda. That's the pride of it, right? So in relationships, when we look at it, it's like, it's all about me. I don't care if my feelings hurt this person. I don't care if what I'm doing tears down my own household. I don't care if it tears down my own relationship. I can replace them. They're just pawns in what I'm trying to do, right? I don't care if going out and blowing all this money stops us from getting to the next level. I don't care. These are real life situations that you see, and this is because it becomes of self-absorbing. You lose sight of whose you are. You lose sight of the plan and the purpose because you're just chasing your own desires, right? And your own desires and your own pride will eventually lead to your own destruction. But if I stay focused on whose I am, right, and the whose I am is God, I can't operate in that situation. So, like I said, it was a time, my own pride, I thought I could replace any woman that I was in a situation with. And then I understood, like, wow. And I actually was in my phone and I had recorded a conversation. And I'm listening to this conversation. When I recorded it, I must have thought I was in the right by how I was, because I'm recording it. So obviously I'm thinking I'm protecting myself or I'm right. But I was listening how harshly I was talking, like, I'm not operating out of God or out of love of God. Even though what I was saying was right, how I was saying it was totally wrong, right? How I was saying it was destruction. And I listened to myself like, that's pride. That's pride. I was operating in pure evil. A lot of people won't be able or to acknowledge or even say that. That's how I know I'm out of that mindset, right? But I was operating in pure evil. And then I started thinking about it like, well, why was I saying these things? Because I wanted it my way so bad. I wanted whatever I wanted my way so bad. I was willing to destroy the situation. I was willing to, that person became expendable to me. This is what the dangers of the him, her agenda will do, right? Because if I was operating in purpose, whether I needed that person around me or not, right, I wouldn't have dealt with the situation in hate or anger or self, right? I would have operated out of whose I was. But the trick of the enemy is either even covertly to get you to think that you so him or you so her that it's all about you, right? So I stopped operating like a child of God and I start operating as me. And me is flesh, and flesh is influenced by evil. So I wasn't operating as a child of light. I was operating in darkness, right? And though I felt I was right in the conversation, it might have been. I don't even remember what the argument was about because the recording didn't even have that. I just remember I was going and I was listening to this thing. And I'm like, damn, like, I wouldn't even want to deal with me. I'm cold. And I might have been right because of some of the things I know this person was doing. But how I was saying it and how it was coming off, like, wow, this boy, hey, you something else. And so when you operate in pride, you can't see that, right? When you operate in I'm him, I'm her, can't nobody tell me nothing, I can't see it. Don't you think people came to Puffy? Don't you think people came to Maduro? Don't you think people came to Chapo? Don't you think people came to Meech? Don't you think people came to all these people that we see in power and we see in celebrity that fall? Don't you think people came to Cardi B? Don't you think people came to these people and told them like, hey, you should move like that. Maybe you should do it this way. You don't think and if they didn't have wise counsel around them, shame on them. Don't you think people at some point, one of the managers like, you sure we should do this, Lou? you sure we should go run up on God? But the pride won't let you see it. The pride won't allow you to get good counsel. The pride only wants it your way, right? The pride can't see. Like I said, when I was using Ghost as an analogy, the pride in Ghost wouldn't let him see the dangers around him. And that's not by mistake, that's by design. It's designed to destroy you. It's designed to take you out of position, right? So if I still operate in pride, I still operate, I'm him, I'm her. I can't, the light won't shine through me. And if I get humbled by God or humbled by the universe, right? And it tears me down, I become illegitimate to y'all, right? My words become illegitimate to y'all. Like I said, for example, just using Puffy, he was influential. It was a time, Bad Boy was everything, right? Not now one of y'all. Puffy was like, let me show you, and that love thing he was on, right? I'm love. I want people to be this, and I want people to that. None of y'all would go for that right now. If he came out right now like I'm this, this, and that, right? None of y'all would go out look at him like, man, get on, right? That's not by mistake. That's by design, because it wants you, when you get in power, right? It wants to make you illegitimate. It wants to make you, so it can destroy anything positive that you have to put out. Just like I said with Antoine and Corey, right? They were trying, same goal is to awaken people, right? To the truth. To go against the machine just like this, right? To awaken y'all to women, men, no matter how you look at it. And I don't even agree with their delivery all the time, but the message was the same. Was to get y'all to wake up out of the society of me, 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 me. It's all about me, 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 me. Then the downfall of them was their own pride, that they couldn't even see it. They couldn't even see that their own pride, I'm him. I'm him. Couldn't even talk to each other respectfully, and now they're exposed as illegitimate. Which one of y'all really, I guarantee you 50% of the audience after the video came out not even going to look at Corey Holcomb the same anymore. You're not. It's enemies put into your life to try to successfully bring you down, just try to successfully make you illegitimate, right? To try to successfully destroy you. You worried about focused on your image, him, her, and thinking you are better than everyone or have your pride so high is what will definitely blind you from that, right? It'll put the blinders on because you forget whose you are. So when you forget whose you are, you forget how you should operate, right? I know I'm chosen. I know I'm a child of God, right? But my pride from situationships and entanglements and relationships, my pride of the things I have, right? My pride on being high value, right? My pride, and it was subtle. It wasn't like it was just one day I just woke up like, I'm just going to be a dog, or I'm just going to be mean, or I'm just going to be hateful. My pride allowed me to not operate. I forgot whose I was. How did I forget whose I was? Because it started becoming about me. I'm making all this money. I got this house. I didn't done these things. God gave me all these things, right? But the pride will make you start thinking it's you, right? It'll start making you think it's you. So you start forgetting who, and you start thinking it's me. Not whose I am. It's me now. I'm him. I'm her. I'm. Me, right? And when you focus on me, you can't get the things that you really want. Like I said, the relationships. If it's all about I and me, right? There is no we. There is no us. How can I be? And I know it seems like it's hard for people to understand this thing. If I'm draining everything out of everyone around me, right? How can it ever be about us? How can we ever move forward? Relationships, teams, business, whatever you're trying to do. If it's all about me, right? It's eventually going to come crumbling down because It's my agenda, right? The most successful things that you see out here, the most successful relationships, the most successful families, it's not about I, right? Because when you got that person that just focus on I'm him, everything's about me, they're just drawing everything, pulling all the resources away towards themselves, right? It can't grow. It can't grow. Just think about it. If it was a plant, right? And the roots only worried about the roots, and the stem only worried about the stem, couldn't any leaves grow, right? If I'm gonna take all the water and I'm not gonna nourish the rest of everything else, things are gonna die, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So that's where pride always leads to destruction, right? That's how you see people go out and destroy their families, they destroy their businesses, they destroy their relationships because it becomes about them. They forget about who, and if they operated within the whos they are, because God wouldn't operate like that. The blinding comes off you, the blinders come on you when you operate in pride about self. Again, that's what the scripture says. Men and women will become lovers of themselves when they become lovers of God, right? Imagine if God only loved himself, he didn't care about you. Every time you get in something, you'd be destroyed because that's what this is about. Steal, kill, and destroy your joy. Because that's why you see people go out, cheat, lie, steal, and destroy. Pride, self. They don't care about anything but their own motives and their own agendas at the time of their actions, right? And they tear down everything, including themselves. So you see people destroy their families and destroy their situation, and they sit and look around like, damn, I had a good situation. I had a good home. I had a good family. I had a good boyfriend. I had a good girlfriend. And the pride won't allow them to see it because they focused on him and her. I'm him. I'm her. You think Cardi, if you saw her, still getting cheated on. Destroyed her family and looked like a fool. She looks like a fool to anybody with common sense. I'll just put it like that. Because the machine still has people enveloped like this is successful. It's not successful. It's not successful. And she's her. Beautiful, rich, left her family, and still getting cheated on. Right? That's the pride. No one can operate, and you even see the wisdom in that. Not saying she should have stayed with dude, but the situation that she's in, right? Destroyed herself. About to lose half her money. This is the things I'm talking about. Pride allows you to do that, but what do you? I'm hurt. Really? All right. Because you look like a fool to anybody with wisdom, right? And a lot of the situations, if you recant and you think about it truly, a lot of the mistakes we made is because some of the mistakes we made, a lot of them, is when you get caught up in that prideful situation. And it's simply a trap, simply a setup to eventually dim your light. That's exactly what it is. It's a setup to dim your light or bring you down. Those are the results of pride. It's to keep you crashing down. And it's not about what you were able to do, because I showed you all these examples of your power is limited to what you have, what you look like, and what your connections, until it's all taken away. Your looks can be taken away, your money can be taken away, your connections can be taken away, and your power can be taken away. But whose you are, that's you. That's his or her, right? Your resources, your looks, your power, your connections, right? That can all be taken away from you, just like that. God is unlimited. His power cannot be taken away. It can't be diluted. So it's more important for you to remember whose you are than even who you are. Because when situations or the trials and tribulations come, and the things that you have, what you look like, your connections, when they're stripped of you, nothing's been stripped from God. So he can always save you and get you out of the things that you in. He can always comfort you. He can always protect you, right? When things are bigger than you, you still have him. But when you forget about that, and when you try to operate in yourself, that you are everything, you'll learn. You'll be humble. So, especially in this cancel culture, we see it all the time. People be up and they say something the media doesn't like or the agenda doesn't like, and they become humble. They become irrelevant, right? But one thing that no one can ever take away from you, they can take away your money, they can take away your power, they can take away your connections, but they can never take away whose you are, right? They can take the him and make you a nobody. They can take away the her and make you a nobody, right? Like I said, at one point in time, Halle Berry, like I said, I don't know how many consecutive or how many times she won the most beautiful person in the world. Ain't nobody checking on Halle Berry no more. So that means your looks eventually will go away. It's gonna be somebody better looking than you. Just like every year when that contest comes out. Sometimes it's the same person, but after a few years, I've never seen it be the same person 5 years in a row. Never seen it be the same person 3 times in a row. So it's gonna be somebody better looking than you. So it's gonna be somebody when the Forbes comes out. Bill Gates, one time he was the richest person on there, wasn't he? Now I haven't heard about him. He's still rich, but that comes up and down, right? But one thing they can never take away from you, if you stay connected, is whose you are, right? They can strip everything from you. They can throw you in jail. They can take all your money. Kanye, y'all watched him. They stripped that man, but they couldn't take away whose he was. Now he's back in his right mind. At least you say he is. Making good music again. They couldn't take away whose he was. They could take away billions of dollars. Like I said, they can take away your freedom. They can strip you of your freedom. They took a whole president from his country and put him in handcuffs, right? But if he's connected with God, they can't take that away from you. You can go through things, but they can't take that away from you, right? They can put you in situations, the machine, principalities of wickedness in high places. They can put you in situations where you can have billions of dollars, trillions of dollars like Pablo Escobar, and they can take that from you. They can strip that from you, right? But they can't strip away that you're a child of God, right? That's the thing y'all got to understand, that they want you to think it's about you. But when you understand it's bigger than you, and who you have behind you is bigger than you, then that's when you become really powerful, really able to operate in your calling, really able to operate in your purpose, right? So I hope this helped y'all. Like I said, we've been rocking for a long time. I appreciate all the likes, all the love. We about to get into the Valentine's Day series. We're gonna start it out tomorrow. If they don't help your vision, help them find the door. We about to get into it about relationships. I'm gonna show y'all my ups and downs. Like I said, I don't hide nothing from y'all. It's that time of year. Even that goes right back to what I was just thinking. It's funny. I just seen a flyer. It was like F y'all Valentine. That's that his and hers operation. I don't need nobody. I don't need love. I don't need this. I don't need that. Right? But it's so important now. I remember last year, I did Sleeping with the Enemy for the Valentine's Day thing. I think I just got back and into doing these main verse machines, but I wasn't. I was just the anointing was there, right? But my spirit wasn't in it. My soul wasn't in it like it is now, right? I was born with this talent, right? But I was just going through the motions. Didn't even realize I was sleeping with the enemy, which is crazy. So it's so important during these times of enlightenment, right? It's so important with this information being out there, and we're going through the age of enlightenment. You got to be careful because there's a lot of false things out there, right? It's a lot of false teaching out there. Don't have itchy ears. Look at the fruit behind it, right? If people just think they know everything and it's not lining up, y'all got to start studying to show yourself approved. Well, one thing about God is when he says this, like you'll know the tree by the fruit it develops, right? When it comes to these, and this what I just taught y'all about whose you are is more important than who you are. Just as important as who you connect with, right? Children of the light, children of purpose, right? The wrong woman, the wrong man will set you back so far, right? Will set you back so far. Because, and this is about the next episode. I'm not about to really get into this right now. Y'all got to tune in tomorrow. We're going to get with it. Children of purpose, right? Again, the devil doesn't come to do anything but to steal, kill, and destroy, right? But he will send things closer, the closest things to you, to perpetrate those attacks, right? Being a child of the light, being chosen, right? God has a hedge of protection around you. Read the book of Job, right? So how do I get past those protections? This is why you go out every day, right? And you come back home. This is how you see people get maimed, killed, car accidents, people have heart attacks, people have all these things, and it hasn't happened to you, right? It's because who you are. And you have a purpose and you have a calling, right? So the devil understands that. The principalities of wickedness understand that. So how do they get close to you, right? It's like Troy. Troy had the strongest walls in the ancient world. Couldn't be penetrated, no matter what, right? How did they destroy Troy? They sent something inside the walls. They sent the horse inside the walls. Looked like a gift, right? So chosen ones, people of the light, it's people in general. The devil understands that analogy, right? So he's going to send, if he can, and if you're not vigilant, if you're not aligned with who you are, and you're worried about him and being her more than being aligned with the will of God for your life and putting God in your life, as a sinner, see, this is why God wants you to make him the center of your relationships, right? Because you'll see, you'll understand, you'll have vision, right? And you'll operate like him in love and in understanding. And when things don't align to that, you'll see it, right? See, I gotta tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be epic, bro. You'll tune in and you'll understand that the devil will try to destroy you with your relationships, with who you attach yourself to. David was almost destroyed by his relationship with Solomon's mother, right? Solomon, smartest, wisest man, king on earth, according to the Bible, was destroyed by his relationships, right? Samson was destroyed by his relationships. So you got a judge and two powerful kings. And it goes back both ways, because the anointing is on females too, right? Women, if you get with the wrong man, he can slow you down, set you back, or destroy you. That's all the devil comes to do. Steal, kill, destroy. If I can steal your joy, right? Like I told you, what happened to my music? My joy was stolen because I was in a relationship where I was always arguing. I was always arguing. I go on stage to go do a show, and I'm arguing with you about nothing. Stupidness, right? Even with these Man vs. the Machines, it wasn't even an argument. It's about, I was subtly doing what the bad part of me, because you have the good and the evil in you, right? I was in a relationship, where I started feeding into the bad part of hanging out, going out, being involved in different relationships, situationships, that it got me away from my prayer life, right? It got me away from my calling. It got me away from my purpose. It got me away from who I was, right? I started focusing on being me. I'm the man. You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I got the baddie, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing all these things, right? I got the Euro, I got the house on the lake, I got the boat, I got the jet ski. It's all about me. I got all these pretty girls that want me. I got a pretty girl that I'm with. I became the thing I hated, the thing I knew would cause my own destruction, right? So the person you attach with has to be down to help your vision or help the calling that God put in your life, right? And sometimes you're not going to be the him or the her. You're going to be the helpmate, right? And you have to push the vision. You have to have people around you that's not just yes men and yes women, right? Your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend needs to be the person that's going to really push you to be the best version of you. They need to be the person to not tear you down and build you up. When you slacking, right? They need to be able to connect with you, right? To know your love language, to know your language of how to speak to you to get you back, pull you back in, right? When you go off the rails, they need to be the one that's back there. They need to be your supporter. That's man or woman, right? You have to understand in these relationships, and this is tomorrow, when we get on this tomorrow, how you can understand what I'm talking about today. If they all about I, right? If you're down, or even if you up, and all I do is pull your resources, right? All I do is pull your resources. I'm draining you, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it's spiritually, and I'm a drain on you. That's not the person for you. It don't matter what they look like. It don't matter what the sex like. It don't matter what they have. They got a mansion or any of those things. Hey, they got a Maserati. They got a Bentley. They got a boat, a yacht. It doesn't matter, right? If they are not helping your vision and are tied to your vision, right? If the creature comforts are more important than the goal, that's not the person for you. That's not your soulmate, right? Your soulmate's not going to be a drain to you. Your soulmate is going to be a help to you, right? You gotta understand how important that is, right? The relationships that you get involved in, how they can either elevate you or they will destroy you or delay you. No in between. That's tomorrow's Man vs. the Machine. If they don't help your vision, help them find the door. Get rid of them. That temporary loss in the short run is worth destruction or delay in the long run, right? Being alone, you're never alone because who you are. God is always with you. You're never alone. But at times, He has to put you in isolation so He can elevate you, right? Because a lot of people we try to attach to, especially when it's just about looks, because if it's all about looks, right, that's another one of pride. You want a trophy instead of a real prize. See, people, I don't want to get into it. Because people mistake a trophy for a prize, right? A trophy is something you just carry around to look good, right? A prize is put in your life to help your life, benefit your life at that time, right? No one gives you a prize and be like, hey, here's a prize. It's going to drain you. It's going to it's going to take away from you. It's going to cause your destruction at some point. That's not a prize, right? A trophy, you walk a trophy around, it says you won something, right? It looks good. But eventually, what do you do with trophies? You put them on the shelf or you put them in a box. They get dust on them. You put them on the wall and you forget about them, right? Until you see them. Sometimes you don't even see them no more. A trophy will be put away at some point. A prize is meant to benefit you. You gotta have to understand the difference between a trophy and a prize, right? And it's still going into the pride. Why do I need this person? Just because what they look or what they have? That's pride. That's your pride going to eventually lead to your destruction. Just because they look a certain way, they're beautiful on the outside, but disgustingly horrible on the inside, right? He got a lot of stuff, but he's a horrible person. He's a horrible man. You see that all the time, right? The thing about that is, though, too, a lot of us, we've become those things that we don't want to be because of the his, I'm him, and I'm her agenda, right? It becomes all about me. What can I get from this person? If I can drain him of his money, if I can take her for her body, right? Or vice versa, and the same, you know? What can I get? It's all about me, right? So this is where we get into that Man vs. the Machine tomorrow. Make sure y'all tap in, bro. That's going to be lit. If they don't help your vision, help them to the door. So we getting on our Valentine's Day stretch. I don't know if I'm going to go all the way to the 14th talking about love, but I know I haven't been talking about it like I said I was. I keep getting these requests to do it. So we're going to talk about it. What is my, how can you talk about relationships? Because I've been through them. I've been married, been divorced, have good relationships. I done tore up good relationships. And it's just the thing. I'm not going to give y'all no bullshit. I'm going to give y'all the real. One thing about making mistakes is learning from them, right? That's the validity. not gonna hide nothing from you. I done had good girls, I done had bad girls. um, I've been led by the lust. I've been led by my eyes. I've been led by my desires. I've been led by my heart too. I've been betrayed. I've been cheated on. I've been cheated on. I've been told lies. I've been lied to. I've been told the truth. But the truth been told to. I let, and so this is how I can tell y'all what's the real. Not one of those dudes that had to get rich to get women. Up or down, it never mattered, right? Um, I've been the person that had a bunch of women. I've been the person that just wanted one woman, and that's where I'm at now. Understanding what relationships, or I know how to be by myself. I can be by my damn self. You know what I'm saying? I've done it, all of that. I've done all of that. So that's what validates me. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. I hope y'all this was helpful for y'all today. I definitely do. Understanding whose you are is more important than who you are in the aspect of I'm him, I'm her. When the pride can take over, right? And you forget about that you're God's child, right? Because they can take away your looks, they can take away your money, they can take away your influence, they can take away your connections, but they can never take away that you are a child of the Most High God, right? And it's important to understand that pride, that I'm him, I'm her, when it goes to cocky, beyond confident, you are allowing the same mindset that made Lucifer fall be taken upon you, right? And that's what it's trying to do. What's more important is who you are. I'm a child of the Most High God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. So all the things that y'all want, all the desires of your heart, God wills and wants them for you. Align yourself with His purpose. That's more important than you thinking you better than everybody or you higher than everybody. But again, tomorrow, if they don't help you, remember this, say this with me. If they don't help you or they don't help your vision, help them find the door. Get them out your life. We were talking about relationships tomorrow, and we about to get to it. So, Queen Toxic, that's what's up. And they don't help your vision, help them find the door. Peace up, Bay vs. the Machine.